Hey, good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Tanya Lady T, and we getting ready for work. But I wanted to come on real quick this morning, and I just want to applaud all educators that are on the up and up, that are doing the daggone thing, that are being on their grind, truly pouring into uh, our youth and to our adults, because you got a lot of adults that are in school as well. But I just want to specifically focus on educators that are in the public school systems and or any school system where, of course, again, they're educating, pouring into, and sharpening the minds of our youth. Y'all know I keep abreast of the news and everything, and it is truly, again, heartbreaking of the proposed budget cuts that they are attempting to implement concerning the education budget. And we know Secretary DeVos has been getting it. They're bringing the smoke to her. And I'm not trying to about tearing people down. All I know is that this is why it's important that we all get involved and all engage in the things that are effective or will affect our children. I know I'm like everybody else. I'm on the grind, the 9 to 5. A lot of times we just don't have time to watch every nook and cranny of what's going on. But the word is still true. We have to know who's laboring among us, and we have to also make decisions and put people in positions that will be a benefit, and really truly look and see, am I really voting on am I voting against my own interest just because it was something mom and them did or your neighbor did? No, you really have to get into the weeds and into the dirt and into the soil of different issues that are going on in your community, in your municipality, in your government. And you really have to uh, see what you can do that is actionable. Because, once we gather all the information, once we do the ooh and ah, I can't believe they're doing this and I can't believe they're doing that, what are you going to do about it? What actions are you going to take that's going to be a benefit and that's going to help your situation, your family, your children, your grandchildren? And I think it's important. I think we cannot continue to be a society of spectators. We really have to participate. Um, and like I said, I just want to applaud the teachers who are having to come out of pocket because they're having to expend their personal funds to make sure children have the proper books or the proper tools they need to learn. And of course, that doesn't shun the responsibility of parents, but I'm just talking about teachers that are in that classroom and they recognize there's a need there, and whether it's something not being met through the parents because the parent is busy just making sure the child has a roof over their head and water to bathe. And I get all that as well. So I'm just, we can talk about the obvious of why and the who, the what, the why. But I'm just talking about beyond that, the teachers that are doing it and making things happen because they see a need there and they're not doing a whole lot of questioning at that moment. They're stepping in and they're doing what they need to do to make sure that you and yours has what they need to succeed in this society. And so, again, I just wanted to take the time out to just applaud all educators. And that's from the principal to the superintendent all the way down to perhaps a janitor. I'm just saying there is a great need. And I also personally think that a teacher's compensation should be the most competitive on the scale. Yeah, we talk about the CEOs of tech companies and the CEOs of this big conglomerate, but I honestly think, and we talk about doctors and plastic surgeons getting all this, these big salaries, and that's not to diminish their income. I'm not even talking about that. But the teachers, I think teachers' income need to be right up there, if not even surpassing those other types of, fields. I really think that teachers, their income should be up there just as competitive as any of these other professions. Excuse me. And like I said, we as a society should want it, because I understand in the public school system, the children go to school is something that we as parents expect those educators to teach our children, but we still should also fight for these teachers to have a level of care for these teachers, to make sure that it's really sad how they have to fight just to get 3% raise, or just to get $1,000 per year added onto their income. And we see these other professions, they're getting $5 and $10 million bonuses. And and like I said, I understand it may be in the tech world and it may be in the medical field. And like I said, this is not to a dog or belittle what a doctor does. Thank God for doctors, and I appreciate that and everything that they do. But honestly, for those who are pouring into our children, anywhere from, 6 to 8 hours a day that children are in school, I really think that we should push for teachers to be just as competitive with their salaries, that they should get the best, that they should be on the top end of the scale, not on the low or the medium, but the high, especially those teachers that are worthy, that again pour into your children. They help and make sure that they get it every time they sit down in a seat in their classroom. So anyway, I just wanted to come on. It was just on my heart to do that, and just to say thank you, teachers out there. Thank you, educators that pour into our children. As y'all know, I have a 2-year-old granddaughter, and I have a 13-year-old, and she'll be in high school next year. And she's about to be on her way. And I have a niece and nephew, and they're about to be in middle school and high school, and they're about to be on their way. And I remember when my son Dexter was in school, and I was a parent that was fully present. I went to my son's school on the first day of each year. I was a parent that went into the classroom. I wanted to know where he was sitting. I was one of them parents, I know it may seem radical, and I prayed over his seat. Even though I know as classes change, other students would be sitting in that seat. Oh, well, amen, bless them. Oh, yeah, honey, I was one of them. And I prayed with my son. I was very present out there with the teachers. They don't do it so much anymore, I've heard. But I wanted to see their plan, their curriculum, so that I could be a parent that could help him when he got home from school. And it wasn't easy. I was a single parent. I always had worked 2 jobs until I finally got promoted and all that stuff. But what I'm saying is, of course, as parents, we have to be fully present. We have to stand right there in the gap. But again, just to stay on focus is to just say thank you, teachers. Thank you, any educator that runs across this video. You have family, you have loved ones who are educators. And thank them, and I thank them for their service. I'm really and truly, they are teaching your child. And again, get involved. There's an app called 5 Calls app, and you just download it, And again, it's 5 calls, CALLS. And it's an app on the Google Play Store. If you got iPhone, I'm sure it's in the iTunes Store. And you just download it. It's free. And what that app does, it will list and give you whoever your representatives are in wherever you live. So if you need to call that senator or that representative or that governor or whoever of where you reside to speak to the staff or leave a voicemail, again, be professional, be tact, and let them know that you have concerns about certain things that are being discussed, certain things that are being voted on, certain things that may affect you and your children. I mean, like I said, we can spend all the time, and I love social media myself. I sometimes can spend hours watching YouTube and answering comments and looking at my other people that I love to watch on YouTube, and we can spend a lot of time doing that. But again, take the time to spend and get involved. And again, it's just showing or expressing to your representative, hey, I'm concerned about this. And this is how I feel about it. And again, be professional, use tact. Don't get on there cussing them folk out, because then your message is lost. Isn't that the truth? A lot of times we want to express how we feel about something, but our message is lost because we get emotional. And we start talking crazy out of our emotion, and what we are trying to say doesn't get heard. We're just making a bunch of noise. So, again, like I said, I'm just, sharing information with you all that I do. And again, not being a spectator, but truly, truly get involved with what's going on around you, And like I said, this thing about them totally zeroing out Special Olympics and not even having a budget. That means you're cutting. And I understand, just like any other special cause, the private sector, people raise money, people donate. We understand that too. But I think about when I was growing up and how when we were picking in the neighborhood and we were, in the summertime, we were playing kickball, dodgeball, all that kind of stuff. I don't know what y'all experience was, but being in the military, I was around a diverse, different types of people and children and cultures. And it was nothing for us to make sure that we picked Sally or Jim or David that was special needs, whether it was they had mental issues, whether they just had a disability in their limbs or something. We made sure that they felt part of our neighborhood. We didn't shun those children or those, they went to school with us. They may have had to, go to special education classes and stuff, but they were part of our neighborhood. They were part of the fabric of who we were growing up. And, I think about that and all the special things that we had to assist them with, helping them hold the baseball bat, all kinds of stuff. It brings back to my memory, and for them to just decide that they want to totally zero out the budget for those type children. And, people that are in those positions that make those type of decisions, you don't know the child that you're raising. You may have, like I think about Lauren, when they get older and decide to start their families, you don't know if their children may have a special need. And then the funding and the programs for research and all that is totally cut out. There are no benefits. There's no let me tell you something. If it ain't at your doorstep, some people are just oblivious to it. But like I said, all these people that are in power, you don't know that 13-year-old that you're raising now may have a special need child. You don't know that 13-year-old that you're raising now may grow up and decide and marry a person, and then they become a special, something happens tragically, and they have to tap into resources where they are now considered a special need. a quadriplegic. They may get in a horrible accident. I'm not speaking gloom and doom, but when you think about those things, when you're cutting off funding, you know, and even all people who have different cancers, and the funding is just completely, and it's not like we don't have the means to budget and funnel that money, because we are, all of us who work, we pay taxes every day, and the budgets are set up for a reason. Those highways we drive down every day, people are oblivious to it. Guess what? That's government. This air that we breathe, so we ain't in the hospital with pollutants flying in our in our bodies. Those are government things. I know we don't want government to be too big. Don't hear what I'm not saying, but at least know that these things that the government provide is for our good, for clean water, making sure the highways, are functional. Being able to travel from one state to the next. If you have a fear of flying, if you just if you just want to travel the United States, we were talking about that in the office. We all got a little map where we're starting to shade in all the states that we visit, and make it a goal that however often is possible, we'll schedule a vacation to go and visit all 50 states of the United States. So anyway, I have visited, I've been to 18. I've been to 18 states. And I thought, you know what? I want to be able to visit every state in the United States. So that's one of the things that's on my bucket list. But again, I'm just coming on here, just life, connecting with one another, life. Anyway, let me shut up and get ready to go to work. Anyway, I love you guys so much. Again, thank you for your continued prayers. I'm healing very well. I tell the Lord thank you. And anyway, see you on the next video. Y'all have an awesome week. Bye.